nonsense, and
We ain't got no time for that.
we got no time for nonsense. Maybe I should. There's an idea, Greg. Why don't you subscribe to the podcast?
Hey, there's a thought. I mean, after all these years, it might not be a bad idea. Oh, hey, that reminds me. I saw your username on TikTok. I had to chuckle.
Oh, how funny. Okay. I think we're in, like Flynn.
Looks like it.
Of
I
course,
check the
thanks
sound.
for watching.
Right, but
let's change that out. Let me know if you can hear us. Yep, I can hear us, so there's that.
Okay. Let me just check my snake settings. Surely they're not goofy.
All right. I suppose we could start. Although,
okay.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hold the fort.
Uh-oh.
No, nothing major. I do need to double check, make sure you can hear.
Right.
The most important thing I can possibly do in a day.
Oh. Yep, I heard it.
Okay.
What that? Why can't I hear the Twitch stream? What the hell? Have I suddenly gone deaf?
I heard it.
Okay, well, as long as you could hear it, because apparently. Although I can hear you, so I mean, obviously, it's not my ears.
Right. The most important thing I could possibly do in a day.
Oh, weird. Oh. Yep, I heard it.
Ironically, I did not hear it in.
Huh.
Huh. Which is weird. So you heard it. Why did nobody else hear it?
Okay, now I hear the Twitch stream. That's good.
Yeah, I turned that off.
Apparently the computer was set to the mic, which doesn't make sense because I can't hear out of the mic. So, anyway.
That is
weirdos. All right.
But yeah, I need to double check, make sure this is coming through. Hang on.
Alrighty.
Why are you not? Oh, I bet. Hang on. Did Skype do something to my settings? This is always the question you have to ask.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I have to check them every time because sometimes it'll say, you know, my headphones working, and other times it'll switch it to the mic, and well, can't hear out of the mic. So, I mean, I guess unless I'm going to put it up all the way close to my ear, but even then, I don't think it would work.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so why that's coming through? Go ahead and talk.
Hey, it's me talking. Oh, hey, playing skills is in the shout box already.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. The audio is not going to come through on the stream, and that's OBS, and I don't know why OBS isn't capturing it.
Asset.
Pretty much. That's mic in. Though I could. No, I want. These are the things I need to figure out. Properties. What are we capturing? I want you capturing my headphones. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Although maybe. Oh, let's try something different. All right, talk. No. Why would I do something like that? That would be silly. Okay, so he should only hear me and go ahead and talk. No, we're not. It's okay. Go ahead and talk again.
All right, I'm talking. 1, 2, 3, testing. 1, 2, 3. I've got coffee, so there's a plus. Anyway.
I hear you, and I see you coming up, so I know he can hear you. The question is...
Good, coming up. Woohoo! Uh-oh.
We're going to win so apparently. Much, you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore.
I think I fixed it.
Okay, well, okay, we have an echo, and apparently now Luis can't hear me, which I don't know if that's actually
I know,
a problem,
it's because he's behind. I'm adjusting settings.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. There's like a 15-second delay or something.
Yeah.
That's right.
So let me just make sure.
Oh, and now I'm back.
All right.
Our podcast, it is a comedy of errors.
I know, we're groovy.
I know, right?
Starting a little later, not a big deal.
It's all right. Yeah, we haven't had Gremlins for a while. We were due.
Yes. So. Entertaining, as we go. Okay, right. Now I need to ditch that. All right, we're back. We're good. We're gonna start now.
All righty.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started.
Medic!
I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Well, hey, everybody. It's episode 820 of your favorite podcast, the Overseas Connection podcast, coming to you live in stereo, no less. Yeah, I figured that out finally. It's January 26th, 2025, and we're live, Roseville, California, the West Wing, also parts unknown. I can't think of a Canadian name, but we're just going to say parts unknown Canada. Hello, okay, Kim Woods. Kim Woods joining the show today. How are you doing, Kim?
I am here. I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Good.
And yes, we don't know who Bongo is. He is a communist Marxist. He's a bit narcissistic, and he's off doing racing things this morning or this evening, however you want to look at it.
Today, he's doing stuff today.
Today, yes, today. It's weird though because I'm now hearing stereo in my head for the first time in forever.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Toronto. Okay, we could call you from Toronto, Kim.
All right.
I was gonna go Montreal, which would make you French Canadian, and you'd have to do some.
But
yeah. No.
I sound like Pepe Le Pew probably, and that wouldn't be good.
No, that would definitely not be good. I don't know how to react to that, Kim. I don't know how to react to that. What I will do, I will tell people, hey, if you are listening to the first time, please like, subscribe, come back again. We do this every Sunday, like I said, 8 p.m. in the UK, 12 p.m. on the West Coast, 3 p.m. in the East Coast. And again, if you are out in that unknown parts of Canada, well, maybe Toronto, maybe Montreal, maybe Saskatchewan. That just sounds very fun. Next, we're going to move you to Greenland, by the way. This way we can buy you, and that's the plan. Anyway, 2 p.m. in the Central Time Zone. Nobody cares about the Central Time Zone except for the people that are in the Central Time Zone.
Well, obviously, I mean.
Exactly. Yeah. I could say Mountain Time, but really nobody cares about Mountain Time. It screws everybody else up. Right. Until we don't change clocks and move ahead and move back, Mountain Time Zone is forever going to be problematic. Okay. Actually, it's not Mountain Time Zone. It's just Arizona. Arizona's the outlier. They're the communists right now. They're the problem. Although maybe, just maybe, they're the sane ones.
Oh.
Because they don't move their clocks, Kim.
Right.
So yeah, Mountain Time Zone actually is a time zone, but literally nobody cares about Mountain Time Zone. You never hear it mentioned. It's always West Coast, Central, East Coast. Never Mountain Time Zone.
Nope.
It's a 1 hour difference for me. It's a stupid time zone. Okay, enough time zone talk, Kim. We're on Twitch. We are on YouTube, so you can join us live, just like Playing Skills is right now in the chat. Shout out to Lewis. You can also, of course, catch us on an audio version of the podcast. We're like your favorite uncle. We show up on formats you probably don't use. But yeah, so we'll have the audio version of it probably sometime tomorrow, so you can hang out with Richard Simmons and listen to us and do your, morning calisthenics while you get a little Ensure, drinking the Ensure. Okay, we got no birthdays, Kim. Nobody was born on this day or this week. Nobody. Nope. So if you do have a birthday in the next couple days, you need to move it. All right. Let's just dive into it, Kim. Let's talk some story time.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
By the way, we do have a Discord channel. It's the future.
According to Mark.
According to Mark, yes. I don't know the future of Discord really that looks like. Because, I mean, the PC gamers kind of like it. I feel like it's become the de facto. But it just hasn't really caught on big elsewhere. By the way, you're going to be hearing a lot of coughing today, and I'll lead with my story time. All right. I was sicker than shit this past week. Holy crap. So Wednesday, I was starting to get sick as we were playing Halo, and I was like, I had adjourned myself to the couch, slept the night on the couch because I didn't want to get my wife sick. I was trying to avoid getting the kids sick. And so Lysol has become my best friend, spraying it all over the place.
Right.
I will also say this. I used, I'm going to kill my wife in a second because she's printing off things. You'll hear it in a second. It's like things just are printing randomly because it's been a crafting weekend. This ties in with all of the sick things. So I got sick Wednesday. Thursday, Friday was feeling like garbage. Still working because I work from home, so it's not that big of a deal. My son was going on a sleepover this weekend, so I was desperately not trying to get him sick. I wanted to make sure that he could go on his sleepover. We would get a little bit of like quiet time, and it just became a we're going to craft, we're going to stay indoors because I was not up for doing anything. But I'm trying to think of, the name of the medication that I use, not Xanax. It's basically, it's totally escaped me right now. It's the stuff you used to be in a little swab that you would swab into your nose to help you get through the cold.
Zycam?
Zycam, thank you. Now it's a little squirt spray bottle, which I like a lot better because I always struggled with the little nose things because it would tickle my nose and I would start sneezing. And I figured I was pretty much sneezing out all of the stuff that I was putting into my nose.
Right.
So Zycam definitely helped. And Mucinex, that was like just religiously with all of that. I'm feeling probably the best I've felt in the past 4 days today. I woke up and I can breathe. I can almost laugh without coughing. I'm still a little nasally. You can hear it, but it was not a fun few past days. I will just say that. What I did do yesterday, I made a model.
Oh.
So this is a TIE fighter. It's actually Vader's TIE fighter. But I did a little different paint scheme on it. I went with a flat black on it. It was supposed to be all gray with black paneling, but I kind of like to just go in a little different. So it's a little hard to.
Very cool.
But yeah,
so that was your crafting.
That was my crafting. I built that last night.
I have a hard time picturing you with like scissors and paper and paint and I don't know. Anyway.
No. That would be my wife. My wife is absolutely the crafter, but she actually makes really cool shit when she crafts, as opposed to I'm pretty much like I make models. That's my crafting.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah,
You're
so
still better than me. So
that was for the most part the main thing this past weekend. Did you do anything fun over the past couple days, Kim?
I played a lot of Dragon Age.
Okay, well, we'll get into the games.
Yeah. Right. But other than that, no, I mean, I read some stuff and,
All right.
nothing of note. So,
How are the pets doing, Kim? I feel like this is
yeah, it's not good. Well, remember Snoogans lost his dog last week. Well, apparently it was my week this week because my dog, it was actually started out being my friend Brian's dog, but I guess I got attached and got to keep him. But anyway, Percy had passed away this week. When was it? Wednesday. We had that really cold spell, and I went out to take care of them all. And I mean, the dog's 14, 15 years old at this point. So, I mean, we knew, I was surprised I didn't lose him last year, to be fair. But anyway, Wednesday, we went out, I think it was Wednesday. We went out to take care of him that night because he was fine that morning. And me and Anthony had went out to take care of the animals that night, and he was gone. So, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, he was 14, 15 years old. So, I mean, we knew it was a possibility, but I haven't actually told Brian yet because he went back out on the road. So I'm like, I don't really want to have to tell him his dog passed away while he's driving on the road. So I haven't told him yet, but like I said, he was pushing 15. So that's pretty good for a dog.
Oh,
and
that's great for a dog, to be honest.
Right. So I mean, technically, I think how the math works out, that would technically make him older than my dad. And my dad is like 74. So he made it. But yeah. So
well, the chat, you're getting some love from the chat. Lewis is sending hugs your way.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Like I said, it's weird because when I originally got the dog, when Brian dropped him, because Brian used to take him over the road with him. And then, I don't know, one day something happened and Percy had just decided, he was done with being a semi-dog. So Brian called and he's like, can you watch the dog for me until I get back in? I'm like, all right, sure, no problem. I was kind of petrified because he's got pit bull in him or had pit bull in him. And I'm not a big fan of pit bulls. We've all seen the horror stories about pit bulls and all that. And I'm like, okay.
It's justified. Can we just have this conversation real fast?
Sure, we can have this conversation.
When you look at like the amount of like violent attacks by dogs,
right,
and also fatal attacks by dogs, and they show them by breed,
right,
pit bull, and what is it? The other one, the Rottweilers, are like they outpace every other dog breed by like a country mile.
Right.
And then German Shepherd actually was the third most, that was a little surprising. But when you see that statistic and it's like thousands and then it's like, not even cracking 100 for other breeds. It's like, there's an issue.
Right.
And so I'm a firm believer certain dog breeds should not be owned by private citizens. And because you always, the excuse is always this. That was the sweetest dog ever. That never once did that dog ever show an ounce of anger towards anybody up until the day it did.
Right.
So it's like, you know what? No. Sorry.
Right, here's the thing. He was a pit bull, but he also was a mix of something else. And
that's fair.
Anyway, I told Brian, I'm like, I'll take him, but I was worried about him killing the cats, and like I said, their whole pit bull thing, and I was worried about that. But I said, the first time he messes up and does anything, that's it. He's gone. You'll have to find somebody else. All right, he was fine. In the whole 15 years I had that dog, he was the biggest chicken shit I ever owned. But the thing was, he didn't mind the cats. As a matter of fact, he was scared of the cats. I mean, whenever the kids were here, he would protect the kids. It was the weirdest thing. The only thing he didn't like was like possums and raccoons and rats. I mean, if there was a raccoon or anything within like 50 feet of that dog, he was all over it.
Well, that's a good dog then.
Yeah, so like I said, for being a pit bull, and even the vet.
I'd be curious as to what the other mix is that was there.
Yeah, I can't remember. Somebody said something with a terrier, but then if you look at pit bull, they're some sort of terrier too, so I don't know.
Huh.
But even my vet said when we took him down there to have him castrated, he was like, yeah, he may have pit bull in him, but he got more of whatever the other dog is than anything else.
And that's if it's more the other, and it's just a little tiny influence, then right. Okay.
But yeah, he was something, and I have to admit that and the funny thing is we've had Rottweilers before and they've not been mean or anything, so it's the weirdest thing.
Oh,
but
stop defending him, Kim. I'm
You
kidding.
wanna hear
I'm
the
kidding. I'm
funniest
totally
thing, though?
kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I once had a dog that was part coyote, and that was
Okay.
the sweetest dog we ever had. Yep. Anyway, enough about that. But yeah, I miss Percy, and like I said, for him being a pit bull, I was shocked that he never tried to eat me once. So anyway, may he rest in peace. So
Indeed.
yeah. So anyway, it was a little rough week for pets, and then I had
Yeah,
to take
thanks
a
for bringing the
cat
show
down.
down. Appreciate
I
it.
know, right? I have depressed everyone, but I do have good news. I had to take a cat to the vet yesterday, and I thought she had a urinary tract infection, which the vet's not sure that she doesn't. But she also had a runny nose and some other stuff, so he just gave me a big old bottle of antibiotics and said, "Here, put her on this for 2 weeks." And he's like, I don't know, she might be 6 months old. She was a kitten we had over the summer, and he's like, she's a little underweight. Oh, okay. So he goes, "Here's what I want you to do." He's like, he put some medicine on her for ear mites and fleas and I think wormer. And he says, "I want you to take her home, give her medicine for 2 weeks, and then he says, I want you to fatten her up." So
Fatten her up.
I
There you
fattened her
go.
up. So out on the porch where the spay cages are, because I also made appointments for that for next month too, so I can get some more cats spayed. She's out there now. I've been feeding her and giving her medicine, and her name is Squeaky. She may be a house
Squeaky.
cat. We'll see.
That's funny. So that reminds me, we have a book called Scaredy Mouse, and
Right.
my son loves to be read this book, and the main character is Squeak, and of course
That's
I
funny.
squeak. That's how I
Right.
do it in the book. Anyway, there you go.
Well,
Inside
that was
baseball.
funny. The receptionist was asking me yesterday before we left. She's like, "Okay, so which is she? Is she Squeak or Squeaky?" And I said, "I don't know. I call her both." So I said, "It's like your kids. You're
There
supposed
you
to
go.
tell them what their name is, but when you yell at them and you're mad, you call them every other name in the book." So
Greggles.
right,
It happens,
take
right?
up. Yep, right. So anyway, so there's at least a little bit of upbeat of the story. So
Okay, I'm glad this actually went positive because I thought you were now going to tell me you killed another cat.
No.
Do you like how I
it's
framed
fine.
that? By the way,
I
you
know.
killed another cat. You're welcome.
You're gonna make me out to be like Robin, But
Nobody
no,
can
she's
be
a
like
good
Robin.
cat. Oh, I know. I don't try to intentionally knock them over. Not that I'm saying Robin does either. It's just sort of, some shit happens. So,
There's a
anyway,
part of me
so-
that feels like he aims. I'm just saying.
right?
Uh,
So, yeah. Other
okay.
than that, it's been a quiet week for me. Thank
right.
God, I guess, given. But
Well,
and today's game day, so my jersey is on. So let's go.
Jersey on, Championship Sunday.
I know.
It
I'm
is.
excited.
In fact, there's a game going on right now.
There
I
is.
should be caring about it because I really want the Commanders to win, just to
Right.
like be that team.
Right.
Also, I have a good friend that's a huge Commanders fan, although he is a Redskins fan. But obviously Commanders fan now.
Right.
Wants it to revert back. I think everybody wants it to revert back.
I think I think there was a lot of people that wanted it to happen. Because I just keep waiting.
Even
for the
Native
day when
Americans, I think, want it to revert back.
Right. Well, and, I was just sitting there thinking, how long is it going to be before they want the Chiefs to change theirs? And they wanted them to do it before, so I'm just, I'm waiting.
It's okay. You're racist. It's all right.
We know this.
Totally
though,
kidding.
don't we?
Kim, I did watch a few different things. So I want to kind of go through some must-see TV. Being that I was on death's door for most of the week, I managed to watch quite a bit of TV.
Good.
So first up, Kong Skull Island. I've seen this before. I quite liked it on my second watch. I had seen it before, and I really wasn't. For some reason, Samuel L. Jackson's character in that movie rubs me wrong. Still kind of rubs me wrong, but I had a better appreciation for the movie this time than I did the first time I saw it. So enjoyed it. Also started watching. There's a game show on Amazon Prime called Beast Games.
Yeah.
The Beast Games.
Mr. Beast. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Beast hosts it. I kind of was avoiding it, and then I'm like, you know what? I kind of dig it. It's pretty.
All the reviews I've seen say it's terrible. So
Well, so I'm only in two episodes technically. So,
right.
But the first episode, so they have 1,000 contestants, and they're all lined up in this massive room, and they basically the first challenge is they have these massive rows of like 80 people, and they're like, one person out of your row has to basically give up. If nobody gives up, your entire row will be eliminated. So it's amazingly unfair,
Right.
but also this crazy peer pressure moment and social experiment of like you're watching just these 80 people, along this huge massive row talking to one another because they're trying to compete for $5 million.
Right.
But in order for everybody to compete, somebody has to step. So it was just kind of crazy watching that, and then just seeing these massive rows of people getting eliminated. And of course, they do the floor drops out from underneath them, and so they just fall.
Oh Lord.
And so, yeah, so that was the very first challenge of the entire thing. And then the next challenge, they wanted to get down to 500 people, and I believe the next challenge was at that point they went horizontal rows instead of vertical rows. And so now it was roughly 8 to 10 people in a row. And so they basically started offering up. So they were all basically teams. Mm-hmm. And they offered up money for somebody to accept it. And if you accepted the money, everybody else in your row gets eliminated.
Oh.
If you don't, and if everybody stays true, you move on to compete for $5 million. You move on to quote unquote the city.
Gotcha.
And so they start off with $20,000, and nobody's taking that. They go to $30,000, and then suddenly you see somebody take it, and the whole row gets eliminated. You just see the shock of everybody's face, like what did you do? And they got all the way up to $100,000. And there was this one guy in particular who was just like, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. Like he was the ringleader of like, we're not 100,000 hits. He took it. The entire row gets eliminated. So just, it really was, I have to say, quite engaging for that. The next couple, games that they played, I won't get into it in case you want to watch it. I won't spoil anything further, but so far, I actually didn't hate it. I was quite intrigued by this social experiment happening of, kind of all for one for all, but then throwing in this elements of the one can ruin it for all and the one still wins in theory. So, anyway.
To be fair, if somebody was throwing $100,000 in my face, and so I ain't gonna lie, I'll take that. I'll pay my house off. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'll be the asshole. I don't care.
I finally finished up Secret Level.
Nice.
I disappointed in the last episode. So there's 2 episodes that I can speak to. One was an episode of Concord from Sony.
Oh, yeah, right.
And pretty much kind of understood now why that game did not do very well. It really felt like it was trying to be kind of that Marvel, kind of superhero-like heist vibe. It just didn't work. It didn't work. And so that was like second to last. And then the final episode, I was very disappointed with it. It was basically this weird, like Sony PlayStation advertisement, for lack of a better way to put it. This character's kind of running through a imaginary game level, and all of these different Sony characters are coming out, quote unquote, trying to stop her. And I was just like, this is dumb. There was just there was nothing compelling about it. So unfortunate for the finale, but most of the other episodes were actually outstanding. I can't say I didn't.
I'm excited for the Warhammer one.
It's good. It's good. And then last but not least, I watched the movie Unstoppable. So that released out on Amazon Prime. It's a real life true story. I believe he was down in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. So he might be down in Lewis's direction. But it's a story about this gentleman who, I believe he was born with only one leg. And he became a championship wrestler. And so they kind of catalog and go through kind of his journey to college and making a team and then winning the championship and some of kind of the up and downs that he goes through. So quite good.
Was that the one with J-Lo in it? I was thinking maybe
Yes.
that one that...
Yes.
All right. Yep.
Yep.
All right.
So definitely worth a watch. And it's on Amazon Prime as well.
Cool.
Uh,
Speaking of Amazon Prime, and I just thought about this.
Okay.
You know what I'm thinking about doing once football is over?
Do tell.
I'm thinking about pausing my YouTube TV and just going to like Prime and all the streaming apps that I already pay for.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know if anybody else has got YouTube TV, but of course the price went up again. It's now like $85 a month or something. So,
So that's the funny thing is I've actually thinking about pausing my Netflix because Netflix also just went up.
Right.
So yeah, we wanted this world. This is all the cord cutting. It'll be great.
Right.
But the reality was it was a signal to everybody to just create their own apps, wall off everything. And now suddenly you've got, Amazon Prime, which Prime I like just because it's included with my Amazon Prime membership.
Right.
And we use Amazon Prime enough to where it's a benefit.
Same.
I don't go ad free on that, so I feel like I'm kind of still getting the deal.
Right.
You can go ad free on Amazon Prime, and I don't know how much that costs. Probably like $5 more a month. I could be wrong.
I think it's $3.
$3.
Yeah.
But then Netflix, Hulu, Peacock. Peacock comes with my cable, my internet subscription.
I like Peacock. So
I do like Peacock as well. So I don't have to cut that out. But Hulu's one that I'm probably going to cut out. Disney Plus, ESPN. That's all bundled together now. If you want to bundle it, and then CBS, Paramount Plus. I mean, Showtime or HBO Max. I mean, there's everybody wants you to buy into their subscriptions. And what it amounts to is your same cable bill you had back when.
Well, and that was the thing I was looking at. Because when I started with YouTube TV, which I like YouTube TV, but I find we don't watch it as much now other than for football. And when I first started, it was like 50 some bucks, and now it's all the way up to 84. And I'm just like you said, by the time you figure on Hulu and some of the other stuff that I've got, we're right back up there to what I was paying like DirecTV way back in the day. So I think once football is over, I'm gonna, because they give you the ability, if you don't want to cancel, you can pause it for however long. So I think I'm gonna do that. Then maybe once football season starts again, I'll unpause it and go. Because really, I mean.
Football season, stops for like 2 months?
Yeah, kind of. Well, I
Pretty
don't
much.
watch college or anything like that, but
no, but the combine comes around. I mean, so
true.
This is what drives my wife nuts, by the way, because I literally, she's like the Super Bowl ends and I'm like on to draft info, and she's like, "Isn't football over?" And I'm like, "Nope."
Not for some of us, So I got to thinking about that the other day. It went up to $85, and I'm just like, you know what? I can afford it, but I don't watch it enough to bear, to pay $85 for it. So
So I think a lot of people are going to be making these hard choices, kind of figuring out which one they want, which works best for them. Amazon Prime, I think, is going to be a staple of a lot of people just because a lot of people are just Prime members for shipping.
Right.
And so then it becomes Netflix, which I gotta say, there's not been a lot coming out on Netflix.
Right.
Well, and I could be changing my tune because I did notice a couple of my shows have now new seasons being added or coming, but it was kind of dry for, the past couple months. And it was just like, do I really need Netflix? I don't know. Hulu is definitely one that I could see killing off. But again, I get that through my Disney Plus subscription. And that's one my wife and my son use a lot. So it's kind of like, okay, well.
I'm right there with you because I've got the bundle too. And all I can think is, but if I get rid of one, then I'd have to, figure out what to do about the other one. So it's like, all right.
And Paramount Plus, they do have some really good shows like The Lioness. I'm telling you now, if you've not seen The Lioness, watch it. It's on season 2 already. And season 2 came out and it's done and it's fantastic.
Right.
So,
Well, it's like with Peacock, they have a Homicide: Life on the Street, and I used to watch that way back in the day when it was on, and it wasn't on streaming services anywhere until like this year or last year. So I've been binge watching that. So, and Peacock for me is only like $3 a month, so
yeah.
it's worth it for that. Anyway.
Yep.
So many streaming services, so little time.
Lewis going through all of his streaming services, and it seems like, oh yeah, and this one, oh yeah, and this one, oh yeah, and this one.
Right? Right there with you. I understand.
All right. I think that's everything, Kim.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right. Well, then
We've
let's
kinda
talk
covered
some
everything.
video games.
Yeah. All right.
Today I feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
Now, I know we didn't have a question for this week, but it is, official. We can kind of go back. Last week's question was, what are you going to do then TikTok has gone dark? Well, it is no longer dark. It
is not.
Been saved, at least for the time being.
Right.
And also Marvel Snap.
Mm-hmm.
Also saved for the time being. Interestingly, Marvel Snap also gave some refunds or make goods, if you will, to players while they were down. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
All right, Kim, we do have games for January.
We do.
Did we ever talk about these? I think we did.
I think we did at least once. So
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's almost February at this point.
Let's-
so
yeah,
if you
let's
haven't
not
picked it
worry
up by
about that.
now. I mean, you know.
Let's talk about what you've been playing.
I bet you can't guess what I've been playing.
Okay, let's move on, Kim.
All right. No,
Your game, by the way, is going to be in the news section. So
I know, but whatever. Still playing Velgard, still on my second run through. I'm still enjoying it. I mean, there's still things that I quibble with, like we've talked. The writing was bad. I don't think they needed to throw Tasha's non-binary bullshit in there. I don't have any problem with any of that. I'm not saying that, but I don't think it needed to be a freaking side quest.
DEI is dead, Kim. It has been eliminated.
I don't know that's going to help Dragon Age, but
no, it's not
maybe.
going to help Dragon Age.
But, I still love it. I like you said, I like the combat, and I don't know if it's because I've played this through already once, but it seems like the second go around it seems easier. I'm almost half tempted to ratchet it up a notch or two, because I mean there was stuff that was kicking my ass the first time around, and this second time it's like, oh shit, we've beat it already.
So wait, so
Holy
the New
crap.
Game Plus, are you just playing the whole game through again, just with a higher
Yes.
level character?
Because there isn't any New Game Plus, because I wish there was, because you have to go back and you have to collect all the codexes and all the mementos and all that stuff all over again. I wish there was New Game Plus, because then I wouldn't have to worry about doing all that, and then I could just go back and get things that I missed the first go around. But sadly, not the case, so here we are. But I don't know, but for whatever reason, like I said, it just seems like the second time around, and I don't think I'm doing any better the second time around than I did the first, because dear God, if there was friendly fire in this thing, I would have killed Lucanus and all of them already once. So, because it's like you go to, you're going to fire an arrow at something. I swear to God, the moment you let go of that freaking arrow, somebody is right in your fucking way, and it's like, oh, for God's sake, I'm going to kill them already.
So,
But thankfully,
It's funny you mentioned this, because
Right.
so this is one of those things, and this is, if Robert was here, he'd be making fun of me. And
Right.
shout out to Mr. Matthew and Boomer. By the way, shout out Kim. Let's do it real fast. Shout out the chat.
Alrighty, CP Matthew, Boomer, and Luis playing skills. It's all in the chat, so thanks, guys. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, I look down. I'm like, holy crap, the chat's going crazy.
No,
And that's a good thing. It
is. It means people like us.
What's not a good thing is when you have players step in front of your shot in multiplayer games. So
Right.
I'm going to fast forward us over to Halo real quickly, just to
Go for it.
sidestep a little bit. But so we do our Halo multiplayer session every week.
Right.
I always forget that Halo very much is, if your own teammate steps in front of your shots don't go through. You don't
Right.
team kill, but your players do block your shots. And inevitably, whenever I'm trying to use like a sniper rifle or whatever, maybe it's just my shitty time. It is probably my shitty timing. But players walk right in front. I shoot the back of my own player. Never goes through. So just a funny little thing popped in my head when you were talking about that, and I'm like, "Yep."
I know.
Yep.
I do the same thing playing Halo, though. I swear to God. And then all I can think is, thank God free for alls. No, or you guys would all be dead, and it'd be my fault.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have that same problem in Veilguard. I swear to God, like I said, I would have killed all the companions off at least a half a dozen times by now, but thankfully, it doesn't work like that. So, but anyway, still enjoying it. So, will there'll be a third playthrough? I don't know, but I really wish there was some DLC. Anyway, enough about me. What about you?
Well, apparently we don't have a DJ.
Hell, we'll have to work on
Boomer
that.
wanted to know who the DJ was, and sadly, we don't have a DJ.
We're too poor for that.
We are too poor for that. This show's not making a lot of money these days. All right, so Halo multiplayer, we talked about it.
Right.
Still had a great time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna join in, but I saw you had 4, so I'm like, I'll just keep playing. Dragon
We had a
Age,
solid
it's
4.
fine.
Robert showed up.
I saw.
I think we helped boost spirits on his end. And it was just some great sessions. So
Good deal.
that was nice. Indiana Jones continues to be my game of the year and probably my game of this generation. This game is so freaking good. And so there are different biospheres that you kind of go, and I call them biospheres, but world maps, if you will. And I've moved into a jungle setting, and I have never felt more immersed in just adventuring. You're in a boat on a river, and there's jungle all around you, and there's spots where you can pull over and get out and explore. And it just really captures that whole essence of adventuring out, exploring, finding things that you didn't know were there, and uncovering tombs and puzzles and some of the puzzles more challenging than others, but none of them overtly challenging to where you think I was never going to be able to solve that. Oftentimes it's kind of more, you might get frustrated with it. Yeah, okay, there's been a couple that I have looked up, what the solution was.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw what the solution was, I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. It was right there in front of me the whole time. I could have figured it out.
I do that
if
with Dragon Age too.
Yeah. A little bit more time would have been great.
Right.
So I just highly, highly recommend this game. If you have not tried it out and you've got Game Pass, you're a loser. Do it. And that's all I have to say about it. I did play a new game. I know.
Better than me.
I know. I checked out Lonely Mountain Snow Riders.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I played this using cloud. I didn't bother downloading it to my system. I just played it right off the cloud. Worked great. So I have it up on screen right now for everybody. It's a skiing game.
Mm-hmm.
Think kind of Trials in that it's a time-based game where you're trying to get down the mountain and beat time to advance to the next map. There are a bunch of different routes you can go. And so as you're picking your path, just like when you're skiing, you can go off the trail, find some kind of hidden ways to navigate faster down the mountain. And you basically hit different gates. Each gate, it has kind of like a time limit to it of how fast you want to get to that gate in order to pass. And then it won't stop you from going down the mountain if you don't meet that time limit. But what you'll start doing is you start realizing you're losing time. And again, kind of there's goals in this game. It's get down the mountain with, only X amount of falls, get down the mountain in under a certain amount of time. And then there's a third one of get down the mountain in a certain amount of time and without only so many falls. There's a bunch of neat little, elements to it of like jumping, doing tricks in the air. It just is a fun, you don't have to think terribly hard on it. But if you've been a skier and you've done, if you've snow skied before, there's a lot of elements to this game that just feel right. It's like, no. This is how it is when you ski.
Right.
So, I don't recommend going down cliff sides, just for the record.
Right.
But
Or hitting rocks.
No, but also the sounds in this are great too, because the sounds of the different types of snow hitting ice, that kind of thing, it all just kind of works really well. And it's a very simplistic graphical style, as you're seeing kind of on screen. It's got that kind of cartoony no face. And you unlock different outfits and ski combos to, make your character look different. Doesn't do anything for your skill of your character, but for some dumb reason, I liked it. I just kept messing with, my different outfits. But yeah, it's a really fun game. It's chill. Again, played off the cloud. It worked perfectly fine for me. And this way you don't have to worry about downloading it, and you can just pick it up and play it whenever you want. But yeah, Lonely Mountain Snow Riders, it's fun. It's a nice palate cleanser.
Cool. I'll have to try it when I'm not killing dragons.
When you're not killing dragons, yes, indeed. Okay, and I think that I did, Kim.
Hmm?
I brought the disc out. It was sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I played Lonely Mountain Snow Rider.
Well, you're getting there.
I'm getting there. I mean, I
can't say anything. Like I said, I've been balls deep in Dragon Age, and I did buy Baldur's Gate 3, so it's sitting there staring at me. So yeah.
Lewis, I know you played Alan Wake 2 and you loved it. That's great. Astrobots also, but look, play the game of the year, Lewis. All right, just get into
Dragon
Indiana
Age
Jones.
Veilguard?
Come on, no. Well, we're talking about your failure in a minute, Kim. But no, I want to see Mr. Matthew, Boomer, and Playing Skills all.
Well, Boomer has been playing Indiana Jones.
All right, we'll see Boomer smart. The rest of the two, I think very highly of both of these people, but it's time. It's time. Embrace the Indiana Jones in you. All right. What are we doing, Kim? We're doing news.
Are we? Okay.
We are.
Here is the fucking news.
All right. Kim, let's start off with the first exciting, thrilling piece of news.
Okay.
EA lost $6 billion in market value. This was following FC25 and Dragon Age underperforming. Okay, it's not really exciting news. It's horrible news. It's bad news.
But they did make it sound like it was the FC game more so than Dragon Age. I mean, I realized for them, Dragon Age didn't do as well as they'd hoped.
Well, yeah, the snippet that I pulled, Electronic Arts shares declined by more than 16% this week, or $6 billion in market value, and this is following its pre-earnings announcement that FC25 and Dragon Age: The Veilguard had failed to meet its expectations. Now, they didn't really talk specifically about FC25 and how poorly it underperformed, but that is like a $2 billion, game. It cranks out money every year, and this is, I think, the second year they've had the FC title to them, as opposed to FIFA. So I'm wondering if that's now maybe starting to have effect. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It also could just be that maybe it's suffering a little bit of the Madden problems that, Madden every other, year or so has just a really underperforming game, because it's hard to churn these out year after year and make a significant enough change to where people feel like, oh, this is, it's worth getting again. Character rosters on sports teams, I feel like, these companies might be better off just doing a roster pack. Take a year off and just update the roster for that year, and then bring out, a new game in the following year. Dragon Age, we did hear that it had missed its expectations by about 50%. It had 1.5 million players that it reached, but of course it was hoping to at least crack 3 million. So,
well, like I said, I have theories on that.
Well, your theories are justified, Kim. I mean, we talked about the game. I think ultimately it just got away from what Dragon Age is at its core and what most of its fans wanted. And instead, they infused a lot of what their leadership team for Dragon Age wanted. And it just felt misguided. It didn't feel...
Although I still love it. But anyway.
I know. Well, you love the character interaction, and that's great, and that's
Right.
fine. But even you see kind of the
Yes,
warts that are
yes.
there.
Yeah, I do. I see what they tried to shove it, and I guess I get it in a way, but I don't think it needed to be in a Dragon Age game. I don't think it was necessary for the plot. I think they could have just come out and said, "Hey, I'm Tosh, they, them, whatever, do what you want to do," and they didn't have to make a big old side quest out of the fucking deal. But
Yeah.
they did.
Baldur's Gate 3 apparently is what you should be playing, Kim, not Dragon Age. Just saying.
As soon as I'm done with Dragon Age, I'll probably do that. There's more smut. So
There could be more smut, and you can make it out with a bear.
well, I don't know about that, but there's the one guy that's got the owl cat thing, and that looks interesting. So anyway, not that I want to. Not. Never mind. I'll shut up before I do.
Yep.
Never mind. Carry
Not
on.
going there. Pete is going to be outraged.
Probably.
All right. The other really big piece of news this week was the Developer Direct. So Xbox.
Did you watch that by chance?
I did. In fact, I'm just going to play it on screen. So
Okay.
we'll throw it
Yeah,
up there.
because it wasn't very long.
It wasn't terribly long, but so they announced basically 5 games, but it was this game in particular that caught everybody's attention, which was Ninja Gaiden 4 was announced.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut back real quickly.
But that wasn't what got my attention. But anyway.
Well, so they had Doom Dark Ages. It's launching May 15th. I'll run through this, then we'll go back and do our impressions.
Okay.
South of Midnight launching April 8th, 2025. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 launching on April 24th, 2025. And then Ninja Gaiden 4 launching fall of 2025. But bonus, they also released Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is a upgraded version of the original game using Unreal Engine, and that was made available today. So if you're on Game Pass, you got that game. It was made available today to Game Pass. So that was it was a good developer direct. I enjoy these because they spend a little time talking with the developers, obviously, so you have some of that inside baseball feel.
Right.
But we do get to see these games, and I think smartly, Xbox also set it up for all of these really spoke to first half, with the exception of Ninja Gaiden 4. Ninja Gaiden 4 obviously coming in fall, but the vibe of this developer direct was this is everything happening first half of the year.
Right.
And it really kind of puts an exclamation point, if you ask me, in that Game Pass is going to cook the first half of this year.
Yep.
Some great games coming out, and that didn't even talk about Avowed, which is coming out in basically about 3 weeks.
Right.
So
forward to that one too.
Yeah. What game caught your attention the most?
Well, South of Midnight. It looks really good, so I'm excited for that one. Was it Claire Obscura? That one looks really good too, and surprisingly, Doom. I don't know. Maybe it's the Space Marine vibe or whatever, but I'm like really excited to go in there and like bash the hell out of some demons. So
I'm fast forwarding through through this. This is the Claire Expedition 33. Wanted to get to Doom.
Yeah, that one. Such a weird title, but
yeah,
that one.
With Doom. Yeah.
Yes, they did end it with Doom. Yep.
So the Doom game looks really good. I am slightly nervous because well, they did a lot of conversations talking about, all of these actions off of one button press.
Right.
And I feel like, and again, not trying to be, that guy, but I feel like PC players are going to be a little turned off to that because it feels like, okay, so you're dumbing it down for console.
Right.
And also console players might also just be like, okay, so it just feels too simplistic. It's just going to be button mashing. Hopefully not. Hopefully it still packs all the punch that a Doom game should have, and it looks like it does. But the emphasis on the, and this button does all of this, and this button does all of that, it just gave me a weird vibe. I don't know why. So I'm cautiously optimistic at this point.
There you go. Although
Yeah.
to be fair, I am a button masher because that's probably why I do so badly at Dragon Age. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm right there with you. I tend to button mash, especially in those critical moments. Shit! And you just start pounding every button you can think of.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that reminds me, in Indiana Jones, there's these fight clubs you get into. And
Right.
that is my go-to move when I start panicking in the fight clubs. And it never works out for me. In the fight clubs, you have to be very strategic. You have to block, evade, punch. And I am doing fine with it. And then the guy will unleash like a combo on me, and I panic for whatever reason, and I just start trying to throw punches with him. And yeah,
never works.
no, it does not. Yeah, Doom looks fantastic. I do. I'll pull the video back so people can look at the other game that we were talking about, which is the South of Midnight.
Yes.
I think this game looks fantastic. I am very excited for this game. I don't know, what the story truly is going to be, but just the vibes of this game I'm getting from there's just kind of that fun exploration. They've got, some of this, kind of run and jump mechanics to it. I'm hoping it has some of that kind of whimsical exploration, like it shows it might. And I don't want it to be, again, I don't think it's going to be dumbed down. I think this is going to be a really high quality game. So it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah.
My only fear is it's going to be you're going from spot to spot, and then it's just you have your arena to fight, and that was one of my complaints with Dragon Age. It's like you would kind of wander around, and then you would get into a fight, and the fight was kind of like an enclosed arena, and then you'd beat everybody in the arena, and then the arena kind of opens back up so you can leave.
Right.
And I don't enjoy games like that, just because it feels, kind of, it doesn't feel as adventurous. Whereas like Indiana Jones, you can kind of, there are definitely areas that there's enemies encamped there, and you're going to fight them.
Right.
But you can leave, you can retreat. I don't like it when you feel like you can't retreat. You can't pull back and kind of reassess and come at it a different way.
Right.
So
meanwhile, I'm a murder hobo and I'm just killing everything in sight. So
there you go. One thing I will say right now, and this is a word to the wise for those who do play Indiana Jones. Gunplay is not a primary way of going about that game. You will find guns are very ineffective, to be perfectly honest, until you start powering yourself up a little bit. So, you won't be able to one-shot anybody. It's if you start shooting, for the most part, you're setting off a huge alarm. And I like that because it's realistic. It's like, there's gunshots. Everybody comes pouring out to where the gunshots were happening. So,
but the thing of it is, in Indiana Jones and most of the movies I've ever watched, he didn't really rely on a gun a whole lot anyway. So that makes sense. So
yeah, no, 100%. And the story in this game is outstanding. I will just say this: the writing is phenomenal. Sorry, I just keep coming back to Indiana Jones. It's on my mind.
That's okay. I keep going back to Veilguard. It's all right.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden, by the way, I'm right there with Lewis. I remember playing it. It is difficult. It was not an easy game. Kind of like I dare say Souls-like game. It's not though, because the difference being, you die, you respawn, and you're not losing everything, unlike a Souls game. Okay. Kim, anything else that stood out to you in the Developers Direct that you wanted to talk to?
Well, like you said, Expedition 33, that was the one that I couldn't think of the name. It was weird. I don't know. It looks good, though. I'm excited to see what it's be like. And it'll be on Game Pass, so I don't have to buy it. So if I don't like it,
It has kind of that traditional, I threw it up on screen for you as well, since you bring it up. It has that traditional kind of RPG feeling of combat. So everybody's like, again, in an arena, but it's turn-based.
Right.
So that might intrigue me. I kind of like the whole notion of it being turn-based.
So
they did a lot of talking in this. And by the way, it looks like it's going to have a crazy amount of skill tree stuff.
Yeah, that was the one thing that kind of, threw me out a little, because one of them, they're like, you have over 100 of whatever these things were. And I'm like, oh, God. And knowing me, I'll stick with like one good one, and that'll be it. I'll never bring I'll never try anything else out because there's so much choice to pick from, and it'll just do my head in. So,
They're going through it right now. You can just see it. It's insane.
right.
So, Mr. Matthew will love this game. I have a feeling it's
Probably.
going to be right up his alley. He's going to be able to meticulously load out his party,
Right.
and then he'll yell at the screen.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
All right.
All right. Kim, let's talk
Yes.
about the new releases.
Okay, dokie. There is a few on there that I threw in from last week, mainly because last week I didn't see them. So, and one of them kind of sounded interesting, and you'll see why when I tell you what the name of it is. So, anyway, let me get over here. And your new releases for January 26th to February 2nd. That's right, February's almost here, folks. Can you believe that?
No.
This means we're closer to spring, in my opinion, but whatever. Alrighty, these were two from last week. One of them is Cat Detective Albert Wild for the PC on January 24th. So, I'll have to be checking that one out to see if you're actually a cat detective or if it's something else entirely. Because, you know.
Oh, another reason to like Indiana Jones. There's cats.
Oh, yeah? Woohoo! Yeah, because I just keep thinking in Veilguard, they're yelling at me because I always stop and pet all the cats. But
Well,
anyway.
yeah, you won't be petting a cat, but I'll tell you that right now.
That's all right. Well, they're there. Mark of the Deep for the PC was out last week on the 24th. Cuisinier, I think that's what that is, for the Switch on the 28th. So now we're getting to newer releases. Let's see. Scroll down. Neptunia Riders versus Doggos. Okay. For the PS5, PS4, and Nintendo Switch on the 28th. Orcs Must Die, Death Trap. For the
Love
Xbox
Orcs
Series
Must
X.
Die.
I
Love it.
know, right? Xbox Series X and S and PC on the 28th. What if it's coming to Game Pass? Guess we'll see. Let's see. Sybil's Journey for the PC on the 28th as well. And we're scrolling down again here.
No, it's
All
a
right.
Kim game.
Probably. Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter. This is the
It
game about
screams
mice.
Kim. Yeah.
I know. PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Switch, and PC on the 28th. Ooh, really? The Stone of Madness for the PS5, Series X and S, Switch, and PC on the 28th as well. Warside for the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 28th as well. A lot of these coming out on the 28th. Agent Fall for the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch on the 29th. Corridon or Co-Ridon. I don't know.
I think
PC.
Corden. I don't know.
Corridon. There we go. I would go with that because the other one just sounds terrible. Corridon for the PC on the 29th. That's out for PC. Cryptical Path for the PC on the 29th as well. Dead Letter Department for the PC on the 30th. And if we got anything after that, let me see.
Indeed.
Scrolling is not in my forte, apparently. Oh, yep, there's a few. Sniper Elite Resistance for the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC on the 30th. Spider-Man 2 for the PC on the 30th as well. Jinso Manage? I'm not sure. But it'll be out for the Switch and PC on January 31st. Otherwise, it just sounds terrible.
I'm going to say Genso Menage.
Well, there you go. That's
there
what
you
he
go.
said. And those are your new releases. So,
All right.
go forth. Play
Excellent.
games.
All right. Oh, I have a question now for the community, as well as
all right.
you, Kim,
right.
because I'm curious.
Oh.
So I don't use a laptop for my normal PC setup, but I do use a laptop for work.
Mm-hmm.
I see you have a laptop.
Yep.
I'm assuming others within our community also work with
Also have
laptops. Preference. Do you like using the trackpad or do you like using mouse?
All right. I've come to tolerate the trackpad, but I almost think I like the mouse better, which is somewhat me half tempted to get one of those mice that I can plug in and use it as this thing. So, because I have a hell of a time scrolling for the new release.
Right. No, that's what made me think of this. So I 100% hate trackpads.
Right.
So I have a wireless mouse. So this is my work mouse right here. It's
Right.
wireless for my laptop. Has a little USB dongle. The dongle, which is nice, is it's actually very small.
Right.
So it's not super huge, which they used to be massive, and I hated that because
Right.
you would constantly knock on it and potentially knock it out. I'll mess with
Right.
that later. So I absolutely cannot use the trackpad. I suck with it. I hate the trackpads.
Right.
If I'm traveling, I actually have a travel mouse.
Oh.
It folds up and it's a travel optical mouse. It has a pad. Every once in a while, you get to a place where you're like, you put your optical mouse on the table, and the material or coloring of the table makes the mouse not work. It drives me crazy. So then I'm forced to use the trackpad. But yeah, I cannot use the trackpad to save my life.
Well, apparently the chat agrees with you. So.
Yes. So
apparently
Kim,
I need to get me a mouse.
You need to get yourself a mouse.
I will do that.
Yeah. And I mean they're relatively cheap ish. But do yourself a favor.
I will do that.
Immensely better. Okay. Well, I wanted to make sure I wasn't the I'm like, am I the one that's not? No.
I'm just bullheaded, and I'm surely I'll get used to this, but I've had it for 3-4 years now, and I'm still not very good with it. So obviously,
I mean, it and it's funny. So the other thing that you can't do, which, and I don't know why, and maybe somebody knows the answer to this, but if you turn the trackpad off, it actually turns your ability to use a mouse off too. So,
wow, that's
because I thought, well, I have a mouse now, so I'm just going to turn the trackpad off. And I clicked on trackpad, and it completely disabled any mouse cursor movement. And I'm like, fuck, how do I get it back? Because now that was a lesson in frustration. So I never have ever turned my trackpad off again, which still causes me some issues because the way my hands sit on the keyboard, my thumbs, the meat of my hand, that rests right near the trackpad. And my Lenovo pad, the trackpad is stupidly oversensitive to where any pressure sometimes I just start fucking highlighting shit. And I'm like, what the hell? So anyway.
And your camera is going all weird.
I know. It's because it took commands. It's got a mind of its own, Kim. It's got a mind of its own.
It's going to take over one day. It'll be like Terminator all over again.
I'm telling you. I do feel like, not to get into politics, this is not a political thing, but I am laughing a little bit that every new not even armed force, I guess it's armed forces, element that has been brought in by our current president and his administration, also in past, seems to be somehow themed around movies we've seen. We have Star Force. We now have Stargate. Just saying.
Right.
If we get Star Troopers, I'm just saying it's really we're starting to jump the shark.
With Skynet, I swear to God.
Well, that's whether I was laughing a bit with Stargate. I'm like, Stargate is the that's absolutely the precursor to Skynet. Excuse me. Just because it's all focused on AI. We're really going down that rabbit hole. We are.
Oh well.
All right. It is Skynet. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. All right. We will look to do Wednesday. Might be tough for me. I'm not positive yet. This is gonna be a crazy week for meetings for me. Femme Fates out Friday. Mark keeps trying to reclaim it, but he can't reclaim it because he's not on the show. So unless he comes back to the show, Mark, you don't get your Fridays back.
Well, I know they've been playing a lot of Helldivers too, or at least started to, and I've considered picking it up on the PlayStation, so we'll see.
Okay.
But my fear is, since there is friendly fire, that I'm going to kill them all right off the bat, and maybe several times.
I think you can turn friendly fire off. I think,
but
maybe somebody in the chat can confirm that. But I do believe you can turn it off. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's the big game for Sony this year.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
and a game. I mean, and a PC game. So you have options.
I thought about buying it on Steam, but then all I could think is my Steam Deck. And even though the screen is relatively, a nice size on the Steam Deck, I get to see with my eyeballs.
Right. You could dock that to your TV.
I can. That's true. I have one for that actually. So.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
So now you really have no excuse. Technically, nor do I. I could do the same thing.
There you go. See.
All right. Hey, thank you for listening so far. Like, subscribe, do the thing the kids do. Make a couple geriatric comments in the chat.
Right.
Subscribe, like the show, and then bounce. That's fine. We're good with that. Let's do one last shout out to our friends in the chat, please,
All right.
Kim.
CP Matthew says Stargate was about ancient magical aliens. What are you smoking, and where can I get some? So there you go.
Well, that's our future, Mr. Matthew.
There you go. Anyway, shout out to CP Matthew, to Boomer, to Playing Skills. Is there somebody else? Let me look at my list. So I don't want to forget somebody because I feel like nope, that was it. All right, good. I don't know. I thought Lord might have been in there somewhere, but he'll show up in probably about 15 minutes and be like,
in 5 minutes, Lord will show up.
yeah, Lord
Perfectly
will show up.
timed.
So thanks you guys for jumping in the chat today. As always, thanks Tank Top for
You're screwed, by the way. Friendly fire is always on.
I know. Like I said, I already apologized because I know I'm gonna wipe them out at least half a dozen times. Probably.
Please step in front of my gun.
Right. Or stay behind me, which is probably the better idea because I'll probably die in 5 minutes anyway. So. But anyway, I hope everybody has a good week. I'm hoping for a better week this week, and I'll pass you over to Tank Top. So.
Yeah, well, I am hoping for a better week for you, Kim, animal-wise. Absolutely.
Well, hopefully Squeaky will make it, so that'll help. So yeah.
Yeah, I will gladly sacrifice your Chiefs in order to keep your animals alive. Okay. That's the trade-off, Kim. That's the trade-off.
Right. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Shout out to all of the community. We love you guys. Thank you very much for being here supporting us. Mr. Tate, I tried to interrupt your racing with a Skype call. You've wisely smartened up to that, so that did not work. That's okay.
Damn it.
Shout out to Zycam. Shout out to Zycam. It really did work. I'm just saying.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, because this is a cold I normally would hang on to for like 2 weeks.
Right.
Because I like if I remotely feel sick, like the next day it's in my chest, and it just stays. So while it still is there, at least I'm somewhat able to laugh. So I feel like I've bounced back from this much faster than I normally would have. It won't take 5 minutes. All right. I'm just gonna my way through the end of this episode. We're gonna wrap up by saying, have a great rest of your Sunday. Let's go, Bills. We're out of here.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you